Hi guys, if you are a long-term viewer or an Etsy seller, stay tuned because you're going to really enjoy this video. Today we are going back to my peel-off notebooks. However, I am going to show you how to speed up the production process by at least half. Meaning if you sell yours on Etsy or any other online platforms, you'll be making an even bigger profit, so stay tuned. So just like before, I'm going to be using the Paper Cutz 120 GSM Pro Design paper. It is super smooth, prints beautifully, and also doesn't break the bank. I'll also be using their Greyboard. This is an A4 sheet that I have trimmed, that I will trim down into A6. Paper Cutz are sponsoring today's video, so they have kindly sent me these materials to make my wonderful peel-off notebooks. You're also going to need some PVA and jumbo-sized bulldog clips. I'm obviously going to be using my brand new Epson ET855O, and we are going to be using a combination of Affinity Designer and Canva to create these ones. Now, if you remember on the old videos, the production process was quite lengthy, especially as I ended up having to make these smaller than A6 to accommodate for bleed, and we ended up with kind of images spliced off and things weren't great. So this time we're going to make true to size A6 notebooks, but we are going to have a play around with the printer settings to make sure that we don't get any of that cut off and that the bleed is included. Typically, when you're creating this, you want the background to either be tiled, so it is the same across all 4 notebooks, meaning that wherever you trim, it makes no difference, or a block colour, or lastly, if you are going to put elements on, they need to be well away from the edges, so you're kind of incorporating that 3mm bleed margin all around your design. But I'm going to show you how to set that up over in Affinity Designer now. Head over to Canva and we're going to hit create, and we want to do a custom size which is going to be pixels for the unit, and then we are going for 400 width and 400 height, and then create new design. Once that has all loaded, go over to elements and search for your background. So I would like something nice and summery. So if we go for summer and then put the word repeating pattern at the end. Once loaded, go to graphics and click see all. And then just have a look down and find one that you like. And you are looking for a square layout. So I'm going to have a look through and find one that I like. Oh, this one's nice and fruity, this lemon on gingham. And we are then going to go to position, lock the aspect ratio, and we're going to make this 400. Now go over to share and download, and we want this as a JPEG. Now it is quite possible that it is going to tell me that it cannot download this as it is a premium, as it is a single graphic, and Canva doesn't like you doing that. So a quick way around it is to duplicate the page and try again. We are then going to head over to Affinity Designer. We're then going to go to shapes, and I'm going to draw a rectangle that is the same size as my document, which is A4. So if you look down here on the bottom right, it's 210mm by 297mm. We are then going to go to the bucket fill tool here, click on the rectangle, and then here where it says solid, we want to change this to bitmap. Click on it, locate the design that you just downloaded from Canva and press open. Now, obviously that's a little bit too stretched out there, but if you hold on to this paddle here and hold the shift key on Windows, then you can obviously make it bigger or smaller. If you hit view, zoom 100%, you can get an idea of what it's going to look like. And we're then just going to go over to the document setup, and we're going to make sure that everything is as it should be. So we've got print press ready, A4, 210 by 297, DPI is 300. This is very important when printing anything. And the color, we are going for CMYK, and then OK. So next we are going to create a new page, which is going to be A6 in size. Now, I'm going to start with another rectangle, but this one, although it's going to be the same size as A4, it is going to be completely clear. And I'm going to start using the shape assets to build my design itself. So I would like to have a nice little rectangle in the middle. So we are going to turn the stroke on. And I want some rounded corners, so I'm going to do that there. That's a little bit too much, so let's just get rid of some of that. Maybe turn that up, and I'm going to align that centrally to the page. I'm going to do another one just up here so I can personalize the pad itself. And then to create lines, if you go onto the pen tool, click once, and then hold down the shift and drag over, and it should create a line. And the way that you can usually duplicate that is by holding down Control and J. If that doesn't work, you can always go over to the box here and duplicate. And one good thing is, once you have decided what space you want, you can see here it's telling you that's about 7 millimeters. I'm going to go for 7.2. And we're then just going to keep filling the page by using this little 7.2 guide. And eventually, once Affinity has figured out what you are doing, once you hit duplicate, it will start moving them down on its own, so you don't have to keep manually moving. Once I'm happy with that, I'm just going to have a little play around. And I'm going to add a text box here. And obviously you could put a name. That would be a nice selling point. And we're going to change up this font here. Now you've noticed that I've not added any colours. That's because we are going to bring this onto the background in a moment. I'm going to select all, group, copy, and then head on over to our background that we've got. Press paste, and now I am going to have a little play around. So I'm actually going to fill this here with white, maybe a little cream, just by moving the sliders. That's quite good. And the same for this one here, so you can actually see what you're writing. Now I'm actually going to use the eyedropper tool to kind of get some of this green in. And the same for the lines. It's just going to make a more cohesive design. So we're going to move this down so it's not quite so close to the top. And then we're going to make sure it's in the center of this rectangle, as this is going to be the edge of the page. And that's much better. I'm going to bring this down ever so slightly like so. We're going to regroup that. And we're now going to duplicate this. And we are going to align it to the right. And then we're going to duplicate both of these and align them to the bottom. The last thing we are going to do is we are going to remove all of those rectangles, and we're ready to print. So first of all, I would recommend that you just do a draft print. The reason we do a draft is, hopefully you can see here, especially at the bottom, when we print borderless, the printer is going to expand the image, and sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to see exactly where the margins are going to lie for this. And although it's not super obvious at the moment, I can assure you that this gap here will be different to this gap here. So we need to run some quick measurements, and we are going to start with our draft piece of paper, and we are going to simply put on each of these upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, and then next we are going to trim them so that they are in the A6. So hopefully now you can see a little bit easier. The margin on the left is much bigger than the margin on the right, and if we have a look on one of the lower ones, the margin on the bottom here is much smaller on the left than it is on the upper. So we are going to go through and basically measure each side so that we know how big the margin is on each area. And because we have written down where these lie on the paper, we should be able to figure out how much we need to move the designs over in Affinity. So I've gone round and we've got 10 millimeters on this side, 9 millimeters up here, 11 and 2, tiny little margin down the bottom here. So just as an example, you then need to figure out exactly what the difference between each one is. So if I give you, for an example, we've got 9 millimeters here, 2 millimeters down here, then obviously we have a difference of 7 millimeters. And if we halve that, that's 3.5 millimeters. So in Affinity, we need to move the design upwards 3.5 millimeters. So I'm just going to make a note here. And then on this one, it's not too bad, the margin. So if I show you on one where there's slightly more, such as over here, we've got 13 millimeters on the left and only 8 there. So obviously that is a difference of 5 millimeters. So in which case we need to take half of that 5, which is 2.5 millimeters. And we are going to move the design slightly by 2.5 millimeters that way. So you need to do the exact same for all of your different designs, and then I'm going to take you over to Affinity Designer to show you how we would do that on the software. To move these 4 different designs on the page, we're actually going to be using the transform panel just on the lower right. So just to explain this to you, you've obviously got an X and a Y axes here. These are the 2 that we're going to be using, and if you want to make a note, I have recorded it in the comments down below, but basically X moves the design either left or right, and if you add on to the measurement on the X axis, it will move it to the right, and if you take away, it will move it to the left. On the Y axis, this is what moves your design up and down. If you add on, it moves it down, and if you take away, it moves it up. So these are what we're going to be using here, and if you remember the upper left that we had, I decided that on the X axis it needed to be moved to the right. So for that we are going to add on, and it was only a 0.5. And it also needs to go down 1. So on the Y axis we are going to add on 1. So you need to go through and do exactly the same, recording your notes for each of the using your recorded notes for each of the designs. Okay, once you've gone through and you've changed everything, I would highly suggest that you record somewhere on each of these measurements for the X and Y. So for the upper left, the upper right, the lower left, and the lower right. Having these recorded means that in future you don't need to measure anything at all. You just drop your designs in, and then you can move the entire graphic on these 2 axes here, and it should print perfectly. To double check, obviously we're just going to do a print proof check just to make sure that everything lines up. So as you can see, this is so much better. If we compare it to the original, you can see, just looking at the margins, everything lines up perfectly. We haven't got this tiny little space at the bottom. So I'm now happy, and we're going to print everything out. Now this is where the magic happens. Because we have laid these out correctly, it means I don't have to faff around measuring each page individually to make sure it all lines up. Instead, I can take however many my cutter will handle, and for my doll that is 5. I can go thicker, but then you tend to get kind of rough edges, which we don't want. So I'm going to go for 5. Make sure they are all level. So I'm going to butt this up to 10.5 at the top here. And I am then going to move my guide across because it gives me something handy to measure up to. I'm going to rotate this round so that you can hopefully see. And the good thing about this doll cutter is that this guide and this guide here make sure that all of your papers are going to cut exactly correctly, because you can butt them up, and they are metal. This one is magnetic. It is not going anywhere. So now you can see that because we went for the repeating pattern, there is no fear that we have got part of the other side on there, and exactly the same for this one. It just keeps going. I'm going to set those to the side so I can do the other 5. And if I overlap these 2 as well, you can see that we have a perfect cut, so that when it is in the actual notepad itself, everything's going to blend seamlessly. So now I need to cut this down to 14.85 so that we have the length. And obviously before we pack this away, I'm going to cut the Greyboard, which also cuts beautifully on this doll, and we can get 4 notepads out of a single piece of A4. So again, beautifully cut using the doll paper trimmer, and also sized perfectly to my tear off pad. So how much quicker was that compared to the old version with having to trim down each piece of paper individually? If you're selling these, this is the way you want to go to obviously increase the amount that you can make per hour. I've got everything I need here, and I'm actually going to run through this super quickly because if you want a more detailed instruction of the actual assembly rather than the printing, I'll drop a card for you to have a look at the original video. And ta-da! We are all finished. So hopefully you can see there that the margins are all completely even. And because we have this because we have the tiled background, it's meant that trimming down hasn't caused any issues whatsoever. Now, as I mentioned previously, this is not your only option when it comes to backgrounds. You can, of course, just go with a solid colour like this one here. This makes it obviously very easy, although you will still need to do the margin editing to make sure that everything matches up correctly. Or if you want a border, you can also do it so that you have them, but they are kept away from the edges. So you kind of incorporate that bleed margin in so that when everything's trimmed down, you don't have any issues. Now, I am hoping that you can see here how amazing the print quality is for these peel-off notebooks. The reason I use Paper Cutz for their Pro Design paper is because it is super smooth, it prints beautifully, and it doesn't break the bank. So I have, of course, left links for everything in the description box down below. If you plan to have a go at making your own peel-off notebooks, I would love to know. Either drop me a comment in the description box down below or send me a message or even tag me on Instagram at GBT Designs. I love it when you get in touch. Don't forget to check out Paper Cutz. They always have special deals on. Usually if you spend over a certain amount, then you get reduced delivery or even free delivery. I will leave links to their website in the description box and all of the materials that I have used today. A great big thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this updated version of my very popular video, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Bye!